All right, so ready to dive deep into prepping for that juvenile correctional officer interview.
Sounds good.
We're going to unlock all the secrets using RoleCatcher's awesome resources.
Yeah,
And it's going to be like having a personal coach
basically. Yeah, right in your pocket.
right in your pocket, ready to like help you just totally crush those tough questions.
Exactly.
So let's just like imagine you're stepping into that interview room,
Yeah.
feeling super confident and prepared.
Okay.
How about we start with a classic question
Okay.
that often kicks things off?
Yeah.
How did you become interested in working as a juvenile correctional officer?
I think people think this one's super straightforward, but it's really not. They're
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, how motivated you are and how passionate you are about the specific field.
Right.
Don't just, like, give them a list of qualifications. Tell a story.
Oh, that's good.
So think about, like, a volunteer experience or maybe, like, a mentor who inspired you or even a personal event
Yeah.
that kind of sparked your interest in helping young people. Yeah.
Connected to your values and your desire to make a difference.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a story is always more memorable.
Totally.
And it makes you stand out.
Yeah.
And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your answer for this one.
Oh, cool.
It looks for keywords related to empathy, motivation, and relevant experience.
So cool. It's like having a little editor.
It is like having a personal editor for your interview responses.
That's amazing.
Isn't that wild?
I think so.
AI is really changing the game here.
Totally.
Okay, so you've told your story.
Okay.
You've knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
But then they hit you with a follow-up question.
Oh, yeah.
Something like, what specific aspects of working with this population appeal to you?
Yeah. You got to be ready for that.
So how do we tackle that one?
I think it's all about the nuances.
Okay.
You have to show them that you understand both the challenges
Right.
and the rewards of this very specific role
Okay.
and why you're drawn to working with young people.
Specifically in a correctional setting.
Got it. So we really want to emphasize that we are specifically drawn to this particular
Totally. Yeah.
population
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
environment.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're kind of like warmed up with those first couple questions.
Yes.
Now let's get to one that can feel a bit more intimidating.
Oh, okay.
How do you handle confrontational or aggressive behavior from juvenile offenders?
Right, because that's a
Really?
real possibility.
Yeah, like everyone in this field knows that this could happen,
For sure.
but how do we talk about it
Right.
calmly and effectively?
I think you have to show them that you can stay calm under pressure
Okay,
and assess the situation
Yeah.
and de-escalate conflicts while making sure everyone's safe.
of course, safety's paramount.
Exactly. And a great way to do this is to share an example from your real life.
Ooh, a story.
A story, exactly.
Yeah,
So think about a time you successfully handled a similar situation.
good.
Briefly describe what happened
Okay.
and then walk them through your thought process. Yeah.
Did you use active listening?
Oh, that's a good one.
Did you set clear boundaries?
Okay.
Did you involve other staff if you needed to?
Right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
So it sounds like having a clear process to describe will really show them we know what we're doing
Yeah, for sure.
and that we're prepared to handle those tough situations.
Totally.
And remember how we talked about career stages earlier?
Uh-huh.
We could actually weave that in here.
How so?
We could talk about how we might handle this situation differently as an entry-level officer
Right.
compared to a senior officer,
That's a good idea.
showing them that we're already thinking about professional growth
Yeah,
and how our approach might evolve as we gain more experience.
I like that.
And you know what else?
What?
Speaking of career insights,
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's career guide actually tells us that public safety and security knowledge is super essential for this role.
Oh, interesting.
So this could be a good time to mention any relevant training or certifications we have in that area. Yeah, show off your expertise.
Yeah, because it's all about showcasing our expertise and our commitment to safety.
For sure.
All right, so let's tackle another question that I'm sure is going to come up.
Okay.
How do you ensure the safety of juvenile offenders in your care?
Oh, yeah.
Again, safety is obviously a top priority
Huge.
in this job.
Yeah.
But how do we articulate that
Right.
without sounding like we're just reciting a list of rules?
Yeah, nobody wants to hear a robot.
Right, exactly.
I think you have to think about safety in layers.
Okay, so like an onion?
Exactly like an onion. So start with preventative measures,
Okay.
like regular inspections or removing potential hazards.
Okay, those are good.
Then you can talk about supervisory procedures,
Okay.
maintaining appropriate staff-to-youth ratios,
Yeah.
effective communication systems,
Okay.
and don't forget emergency preparedness.
Right.
Fire drills, medical emergencies, security breaches.
Yeah, we've got to be ready for anything.
Yeah.
So we're really painting a picture of a comprehensive approach to safety,
Yeah,
not just like a memorized list.
totally.
And guess what?
What?
This is another great place where we can use RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, cool.
You can actually record yourself answering this question,
Wow.
and the AI will analyze your response.
Okay.
It'll flag any jargon or technical terms
That's so smart.
that might confuse the interviewer.
Right, because we want to be clear.
Yeah, clear communication is key,
Yeah,
especially in this field.
for sure.
And you know what else?
What?
Thinking back to those career stages,
Yeah.
we could also mention how our responsibilities related to safety might increase as
Yeah.
we progress,
Okay.
from entry level to junior or senior officer.
Showing them you're already thinking ahead.
Yeah, it's all about that long-term vision.
Totally.
All right, so let's face it, every correctional facility has rules.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're probably going to ask us something like, how do you handle situations where a juvenile offender refuses to follow instructions or comply with rules?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Because rules are there for a reason.
For sure.
But also, we're dealing with young people who might be going through a lot.
Right, exactly.
So how do we balance those two things?
I think it goes back to that balance of authority and empathy
Right.
that's so crucial in this role.
Yeah.
You have to start by emphasizing safety.
Okay.
Safety's paramount.
Right.
If a rule is being broken, you need to address it quickly and fairly.
Okay.
But also,
Yeah.
you have to acknowledge that these young people are often dealing with difficult emotions
Right.
and circumstances.
Yeah, they're going through a lot.
Exactly. And their behavior might be a way of expressing their frustration
Okay.
or even a cry for help.
So it's about seeing beyond the surface behavior
Totally.
and trying to understand the underlying needs.
Exactly.
And you know what? I think RoleCatcher's Get Discovered feature could be really helpful here, because you can actually have your profile seen by employers who are actively looking for candidates
Oh, cool.
with those specific qualities
Yeah.
of empathy and understanding.
It's like finding the perfect match.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the interview.
Okay.
They might dig a little deeper with a follow-up question.
Oh, like what?
Like, can you give me a specific example of a time when you had to enforce a rule with a juvenile offender who was resistant?
Yeah. Okay, so be ready with a story.
Another story.
Another story.
Okay.
That highlights your communication skills, your ability to set clear boundaries,
Yeah.
and your commitment to helping the young person make better choices.
So a story with details and a positive outcome
Exactly.
that helps them really see us in the role.
Totally.
Okay, let's talk about a question that focuses on individual needs.
Okay.
How do you handle situations where a juvenile offender is in need of special accommodations or services?
Oh, yeah, that's a really important one.
It is, because it shows that we understand that every young person is different, and some might need a little extra support.
Exactly.
So what are we trying to demonstrate with our answer here?
Your sensitivity,
Okay.
your knowledge of resources,
Yeah.
and your willingness to collaborate with other professionals.
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
Okay, so if we have direct experience working with youth who need those accommodations,
Yes.
we should definitely share a specific example
Yeah.
and explain how we adapted our approach to meet their individual needs.
Makes sense.
And RoleCatcher's CV resume builder
Yes.
is a great tool for showcasing that kind of experience.
It is, yeah.
The AI can actually help us tailor our resume to this specific job,
Oh, wow.
highlighting those relevant skills and experiences.
That's awesome.
Okay, but what if we haven't had direct experience with special accommodations?
That's okay.
What do we say then?
Focus on your willingness to learn and collaborate.
Okay.
Mention any relevant training you have,
Okay.
and emphasize your commitment to working with the facility's support staff to make sure that every young person gets the care that they need.
So it's really about highlighting that collaborative spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here's another one that really tests that balance
Okay.
between authority and empathy.
Right.
How do you maintain a positive and respectful relationship with juvenile offenders
Okay.
while also enforcing rules and maintaining discipline?
Right, because it's like
It's a tough one.
it's a tough balance.
Right.
You have to be firm but fair.
Yes.
I think you should start by outlining your personal philosophy.
Okay.
So do you believe in leading by example?
Yeah.
Do you believe in open communication, giving second chances.
Okay.
Back up your philosophy with a concrete example.
A story.
A story.
Okay.
Share a story about a time you successfully built rapport with a young person
Okay.
while still holding them accountable for their actions.
So being like a mentor,
Exactly.
but also like enforcing those boundaries
Yes.
that are necessary.
Exactly.
And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can help us with those subtle nuances of communication.
Oh, really? How?
So you can practice answering this question.
Okay.
And the AI can actually analyze your tone,
Wow.
making sure you're coming across as firm but compassionate.
That's awesome.
It's pretty amazing what AI can do these days.
It really is.
Okay, remember how we were talking about ethics earlier?
Yeah.
This next question dives into a really sensitive
Okay.
but crucial area.
Okay.
How do you handle situations where you suspect a juvenile offender is being abused or mistreated
Right.
by another offender or a staff member?
Yeah. That's
It's heavy,
a heavy one.
but it's real.
Yeah, it's a real possibility.
Yeah, and it highlights how important our role is
Totally.
in protecting these vulnerable young people.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is. So what do we need to show the interviewer with our answer?
I think you need to show them that you're vigilant,
Yeah.
that you understand the signs of abuse,
Uh-huh.
and you know exactly how to take action. And a good way to start is by emphasizing that you want to create a safe and supportive environment
Okay.
where young people feel comfortable reporting anything.
So building trust is paramount.
It really is.
But what about concrete steps?
Right.
Like, what do we actually do if we suspect abuse?
First, you need to ensure the immediate safety of the young person.
Okay.
So if necessary, separate them from the potential abuser.
Right.
Then document everything you observed thoroughly and accurately,
Yeah.
and make sure you follow the facility's reporting procedures exactly.
So knowing those procedures beforehand is super important.
Yeah, you don't want to be fumbling around in a crisis.
Exactly. And it's another area where RoleCatcher can help
Oh, cool. How?
because their guides often have information about those legal protocols
Oh, that's handy.
and reporting procedures.
Yeah.
So we can go into the interview with that knowledge already in hand.
Being prepared is key.
Yeah, it totally boosts our confidence.
For sure.
And don't forget to mention self-care,
Oh, yeah, good point.
because dealing with these kinds of situations can be really emotionally draining.
It can be really tough.
So taking care of ourselves is essential.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about handling those really tough situations,
Yeah,
but let's face it, mental health is a huge part of this job.
for sure.
So they might ask us, how do you handle situations where a juvenile offender is experiencing mental health issues or emotional distress?
It's a really important topic.
It is. So how do we approach this one?
I think you should approach it with compassion
Okay.
and recognition that mental health is just as important as physical health.
Right.
You have to emphasize active listening,
Okay.
non-judgmental communication,
Uh-huh.
and show that you understand that these young people might be struggling with all sorts of emotions.
So we're creating a safe space for them
Exactly.
to express themselves.
Yeah.
And if we have a specific story about a time we supported a young person
Yeah.
through emotional distress,
Tell that story.
we should definitely share that.
For sure.
But it's important to remember that we're not therapists.
Right.
It's not our job to diagnose or treat
Exactly.
mental health conditions.
Yeah,
But we do need to know how to recognize the signs of distress
for sure.
and when to get professional help. And you know what?
What?
RoleCatcher's AI can actually help us identify any gaps in our knowledge here.
Oh, that's cool.
So maybe we haven't mentioned emotional safety or trauma-informed care,
Right.
which are super important
Yeah.
when working with this population.
Yeah.
The AI can flag those missing pieces
That's so helpful.
and suggest that we incorporate them.
It's like having a mentor.
It is like having a personal mentor,
Yeah.
guiding us towards a more well-rounded
Yes.
and informed approach.
Totally.
Okay, ready for a big one.
Okay, bring it on.
This one is all about crisis management.
Okay.
How do you handle situations where a juvenile offender is in danger of harming themselves or others?
That is a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So how do we even begin to answer that?
Well, they're basically assessing whether you can stay calm in a crisis,
Right.
accurately assess the risk,
Yeah.
and take action to prevent harm.
Okay, so what are those actions?
Start by emphasizing safety.
Okay.
Safety first.
Of course.
Explain that you understand the warning signs
Yeah.
of self-harm and potential violence.
Okay.
So you need to be observant and proactive.
Right. We've got to be paying attention.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've spotted the warning signs.
Yeah.
Now what?
First, you need to make sure that you and everyone else nearby is safe.
Okay.
So if you have to remove yourselves from the situation,
Okay.
do it.
Got it.
Then immediately tell your supervisor
Okay.
and other staff members,
Right.
and activate the facility's emergency response protocol.
So clear communication and teamwork are super important here.
Absolutely, especially in high-stakes situations.
And this ties back to that public safety and security knowledge
Yeah.
that we were talking about earlier. RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually tells us that 78% of juvenile correctional officers use that knowledge regularly.
Wow, that's a high percentage.
It is. So we really need to showcase our understanding of those procedures.
For sure.
Okay, so we've communicated, we've got a team.
Yeah.
What's next?
If it's necessary, you might need to restrain the individual,
Okay,
but you always use the minimum amount of force required
of course.
to prevent harm.
Right. We want to de-escalate
exactly.
the situation,
Yeah,
not make it worse.
exactly.
Okay, crisis averted.
Yes.
What do we do next?
You need to document the incident thoroughly and accurately
Okay.
and follow the facility's reporting procedures.
Okay, all the paperwork.
All the paperwork.
So important.
So important.
And, we've talked about how stressful these situations can be.
They can be, yeah.
So again, self-care is crucial for
Absolutely.
anyone in this field.
For sure.
All right, let's move on to a question that focuses on the reintegration process. How do you handle situations where a juvenile offender is released back into the community?
Oh, that's a good one because it's about the long game.
It is about the long game.
Yeah.
It's about helping these young people build a positive life outside the facility.
Exactly.
So what do we want to show the interviewer with our answer?
Show them that you understand how important it is to support these young people
Yeah.
as they re-enter their communities
Right.
and face those potential challenges like stigma
Yeah.
and limited resources.
Right. So empathy and understanding are super important here.
Totally.
So what are some specific steps we might take to support their reintegration process?
You might talk about connecting them with community resources,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
facilitating communication with their families,
Okay.
helping them develop a plan for success.
Right, like a roadmap.
Exactly.
Right.
And mention any experience you have with reintegration programs.
Yeah.
Or collaborating with community organizations.
So it really shows that we're connected to
Yeah.
the community
Yeah, for sure.
and engaged.
Totally.
And you know what?
What?
RoleCatcher's AI can help us here too.
Oh, really? How?
Their resume builder can analyze our experience
Okay.
and suggest ways to highlight the skills
Yes.
and connections
Right.
that are most relevant to reintegration.
That's awesome.
So it's all about using the tools available to us
Totally.
to really present ourselves in the best possible light.
Yeah.
Now, it's important to emphasize that reintegration is an ongoing process.
It is.
So ongoing support and follow-up are key.
You're in it for the long haul.
Exactly.
Mm.
Because it shows that we're truly invested in their long-term success,
For sure.
not just checking a box.
Exactly.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but there's still a few more questions we need to tackle.
We're just getting started.
So stay tuned.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Sounds good. Okay, so you've made it through the first round of questions,
We're on a roll,
right?
but now they hit you with a classic.
Oh, okay. What's that?
What are your greatest strengths and weaknesses as they relate to this role?
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves that one.
I know it always feels like a bit of a trap.
It can be tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, but how do we navigate it?
It's all about self-awareness and showing them that you're committed to personal growth.
So it's not about pretending we're perfect.
No, definitely not.
Okay, good.
When you're talking about your strengths,
Yeah.
choose things that are directly relevant to the job,
Okay, so
like communication skills,
yeah,
empathy, patience,
Right.
problem solving,
teamwork,
teamwork.
a strong ethical compass.
Exactly. Those are all really important.
Right, so we're not just listing generic strengths.
No.
We're really tying them to the specific demands
Yeah.
of being a juvenile correctional officer.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about strengths.
Yeah.
What about those
Oh.
weaknesses?
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes to talk about those.
I know, but we have to.
We do.
So how do we choose a weakness?
Choose something that's real,
Okay.
but manageable. Something you're actively working to improve.
So like an area for growth.
Exactly. Like maybe you sometimes struggle with delegating tasks,
Okay.
but you're learning to trust your team more.
Right.
Or maybe you're a bit of a perfectionist,
Uh-huh.
but you're working on prioritizing and letting go of the need to control every little detail.
So turning a negative into a positive.
Exactly. Showing them that you have a growth mindset.
I love that. And you know what?
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually help us fine-tune this answer.
Oh, cool.
It can analyze our response and make sure we're framing our weaknesses in a positive light
That's really helpful.
and highlighting our commitment to improvement.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so we've tackled strengths and weaknesses.
We did it.
Now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
They might ask us, why do you want to work specifically with juvenile offenders?
Oh, yeah. This one's all about motivation.
It is. It's about going beyond those generic answers.
Right.
Like, I want to help people.
Yeah. Everyone says that.
And really articulate.
Yeah.
What draws us to this particular population?
Exactly. Think about your experiences.
Okay.
The values that have shaped your interest.
Yeah.
Maybe you had a mentor who made a difference in your life.
Yeah.
Or you just believe in second chances.
Mm-hmm.
Share a story that illustrates your passion for working with young people,
Okay.
especially in a correctional setting.
So again, stories are key.
Stories are powerful.
They really make an impact.
Yeah, they do.
And you know what?
Really?
RoleCatcher's Get Discovered feature can be really helpful here
Oh, why is that?
because it allows employers who are specifically looking for candidates
Oh, wow.
who are passionate about working with this population to see our profile.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
It's like a matchmaking service.
It is. It's like a professional matchmaking service.
I liked that.
Okay, back to the interview.
Okay.
They're likely going to want to know about our future aspirations.
Right. Make sure you're ready for what are your long-term career goals.
Okay, so time to dream big, but also be realistic.
Absolutely.
How do we balance those two?
Start by talking about your short-term goals.
Okay.
So maybe that's pursuing a specific training,
Okay.
gaining experience with a particular population,
Yeah.
or mastering a certain skill set.
Okay, so really concrete steps.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we can transition to those long-term aspirations.
Right. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
10 years.
10 years, exactly.
Do we want to be in a supervisory role, mentoring new officers,
Possibly.
or maybe we're passionate about developing innovative rehabilitation programs?
That's a good one.
So we're showing them that we have ambition
Yes.
and that we're committed to professional growth.
Absolutely.
And this is a great place to mention those career insights from RoleCatcher.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
We can talk about those different career stages,
Yeah.
entry-level junior and senior officer,
Mm-hmm.
and how our responsibilities and expertise would evolve as we advance.
Showing them that you're thinking long-term.
Exactly.
That you're not just looking for a job,
Yeah.
but a career.
A career path.
Exactly.
Okay, let's face it, nobody's perfect.
True.
So they might ask us, tell me about a time you made a mistake.
Oh, yeah. Everyone dreads this.
I know, it's like my least favorite question.
But it's gonna come up,
Yep.
so you have to be ready for it.
Okay, so how do we answer it?
It's not about dwelling on the negative.
Okay, good.
It's about showing accountability,
Yeah.
reflecting on what happened,
Uh-huh.
and your commitment to doing better next time.
Okay, so growth mindset again.
Growth mindset, always.
Got it.
So choose a mistake that's real,
Okay.
but not catastrophic.
Okay.
Something you can talk about openly without, like, losing all credibility.
Okay, so not the time I accidentally set off the fire alarm.
Probably not the best example.
Yeah.
Think about a time you misjudged a situation,
Okay.
or made a decision that didn't quite work out,
Yeah.
or maybe you didn't communicate as effectively as you could have.
Right, so something relatable. Something human.
Exactly.
Okay, but then how do we spin it into a positive?
Talk about what you learned.
Okay.
What did you realize about yourself?
Huh?
How did you change your approach going forward?
Okay.
What steps did you take to prevent making that same mistake again?
So turning that negative experience into a learning opportunity.
Exactly.
And you know what?
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful here.
Oh, really?
You can record yourself answering this question,
Okay.
and the AI will analyze your tone and your language.
Interesting.
It can flag anything that sounds defensive
Oh, wow.
or like you're making excuses
That's so helpful.
and help you reframe your response
Okay.
in a more positive and growth-oriented way.
It's like having a coach.
It is. It's like having a personal coach
Yeah.
for self-improvement.
I like that.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of the interview,
Okay.
and they hit us with, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, yeah, the dreaded question.
I know, this is the part I always struggle with.
I know a lot of people do.
Yeah. So what kind of questions should we even be asking?
This is your chance to show them that you're genuinely interested,
Okay.
that you've done your research,
Yeah.
and that you're thinking critically about the role.
Okay, so not just any questions.
No, definitely not.
Oh.
Avoid asking about salary or benefits,
Okay.
and focus on things that demonstrate your interest in the facility,
Okay.
the team, and the role itself.
Okay, give us some examples.
You could ask about the facility's approach to rehabilitation,
Okay.
their staff training programs,
Uh-huh.
their partnerships with community organizations,
Okay.
or even the biggest challenges they face working with juvenile offenders.
Okay, those are good ones.
You could also ask about the team dynamic,
Yeah.
the leadership style of the supervisor,
Uh-huh.
or the opportunities for professional growth within the facility.
So we're showing them that we're thinking long-term
Exactly.
and that we're interested in more than just a paycheck. And, of course, the best questions are going to be specific
Yeah,
to the facility and the role.
for sure.
So we've got to do our research.
Yes.
And think critically.
Absolutely.
And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually suggest some insightful questions
Oh, cool.
based on our profile and the specific opportunity.
That's so handy.
I know, it's like having a personalized research assistant.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about answering all those tough questions.
Yeah.
But the interview isn't just about answering questions, is it?
It's not.
There's that whole other layer
Yes.
of professionalism and presentations.
For sure.
So how do we master that?
Let's dive into that next.
So we've prepped for all those tough questions.
We have.
But what about that overall impression?
Right.
I'm talking about professionalism.
Yes.
How do we really nail that aspect?
So professionalism, it's kind of a combination of things.
Okay.
It's your appearance, your demeanor,
Okay.
your communication style,
Okay.
and ethical conduct.
Okay, so a lot goes into it.
Yeah, it all comes together to show them that you're competent,
Yeah.
trustworthy,
Uh-huh.
and respectful.
Right. So we're basically trying to show them that we're the real deal.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Okay.
What are some concrete tips?
Well, first impressions matter a lot.
They do?
So dress professionally.
Okay.
A suit or business casual is always a good choice.
Okay, so looking sharp.
Looking sharp.
Yeah.
And when you meet the interviewer, make eye contact.
Okay.
Offer a firm handshake
Right.
and project confidence.
Okay, so confidence but not arrogance.
Yeah, that's a fine line.
Right.
But you want to show them that you're capable.
Exactly.
And then when you're communicating,
Yeah.
be clear, concise, and articulate.
Okay.
Avoid using slang or jargon.
Right, we want to sound professional.
Exactly. And pay attention to your body language.
Okay, so good posture.
Yeah, good posture, active listening,
Uh-huh.
and a genuine smile can go a long way.
It's all about those nonverbal cues.
It really is.
Okay, so we've got the look, we've got the communication.
Yeah.
What about ethics?
Oh, yeah, ethical conduct, that's non-negotiable.
Right, because integrity is everything.
It really is. You have to be honest,
Yeah.
transparent,
Uh-huh.
and always act with integrity.
Because our professionalism reflects on the entire field.
Exactly.
So we're representing more than just ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's a big responsibility,
It is.
but it's also incredibly rewarding.
It is, yeah. You're making a difference in these young people's lives.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ethics.
Okay, because as a juvenile correctional officer,
Yeah.
we're going to face a lot of situations that really test our moral compass.
You will, for sure.
So what are some ethical dilemmas that we might encounter on the job?
So imagine this. You see a colleague using excessive force with a young person.
Oh, wow.
Or you overhear staff members gossiping about a youth's personal struggles.
Okay, those are tough.
They're tough situations.
Yeah. What do we do?
Right. And the interviewer is probably going to ask you about ethical dilemmas you've faced in the past,
Okay.
or even give you hypothetical scenarios to see how you would handle them.
So they're really trying to gauge our moral compass.
They are, yeah.
Okay, so how do we answer these kinds of questions?
I think you have to be honest.
Yep.
Acknowledge that the situation is complex.
Right, because it's not always black and white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then outline the steps you would take to address the issue.
Okay, so we're showing them that we can think critically
Yeah.
about these tough situations and that we're prepared to take action.
Exactly.
And, we can also mention our familiarity with the facility's code of ethics
Oh, yeah. Good point.
or any experience we have with ethics committees.
Yeah, those are good things to highlight.
And guess what?
What?
RoleCatcher's AI can help us here, too.
Oh, really?
It can actually analyze our responses to ethics-related questions and help us make sure that we're conveying that strong sense of integrity
Yeah.
and commitment to doing the right thing.
That's a great tool.
It's like having a virtual ethics advisor
Basically. Yeah.
right in our pocket.
I like that.
Okay, so we've talked about answering questions.
Yes.
We've talked about professionalism and ethics.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something that's crucial, not just for the interview,
Okay.
but for our overall well-being in this field,
All right. What's that?
stress management.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
Because working in a correctional facility,
Yeah.
it's demanding.
It is.
There's no way around it.
Right. So the interviewer wants to know that you're aware of that
Yeah.
and that you have healthy coping mechanisms.
Okay, so how do we show them
Yeah.
that we can handle stress?
Be prepared to talk about your stress management strategies.
Okay, so like,
Do you exercise,
yeah.
meditate,
Uh-huh.
spend time in nature,
Those are all good ones.
have creative outlets?
Okay, so healthy ways to de-stress.
Exactly. And highlight your ability to stay calm under pressure,
Okay.
to problem solve,
Yeah.
and to ask for help from your colleagues or your supervisors.
Right, teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
So we're really showing them that we prioritize our own well-being,
Yes.
which allows us to better support the youth in our care.
Absolutely. You can't pour from an empty cup.
That's a great way to put it.
And you know what?
Huh.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually suggest personalized stress management techniques
Way.
based on your profile and lifestyle.
That's amazing.
Mm.
It's like having a virtual wellness coach
It is.
in our pocket.
Right there with you.
Okay, so we've covered answering questions,
Yes.
professionalism,
Uh-huh.
ethics,
Yeah.
stress management.
Okay.
Now, what's the final ingredient?
The secret sauce.
Yeah, what is it?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. I feel like you can kind of fake that.
You can try,
Yeah.
but genuine enthusiasm,
Yeah.
it shines through.
It does.
And it shows the interviewer that you're truly interested in the job,
Okay.
that you're passionate about the work,
Yeah.
and that you're eager to learn and contribute.
So how do we bring that enthusiasm
Yeah.
to the interview?
It starts with being really clear about why you want to do this work.
Okay.
Why are you drawn to this field?
So we have to reflect on our motivations,
Yeah.
our values,
Mm.
what we hope to achieve.
Exactly. And let that passion for working with young people come through.
So instead of just describing our skills,
Right.
we're connecting them to our values
Yeah.
and our genuine desire to make a difference.
I like that.
And don't be afraid to let our personality shine through.
Yes, a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
A spark in your eye.
I love that.
It makes you memorable.
It does make you memorable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about answering questions,
We have.
professionalism,
Yes.
ethics,
Mm-hmm.
stress management,
Yeah.
enthusiasm.
Okay.
What's the last piece of the puzzle? Okay, I know we've touched on this before,
We have.
but let's really dive in.
Okay.
What are some specific research tips?
Okay, so start with the basics.
Yeah?
The facility's website, their mission statement,
Uh-huh.
their program's staff directory,
Okay.
any recent news or articles.
So really getting to know the organization.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then dig a little deeper.
Okay.
Research the specific role that you're applying for,
Right.
the challenges that the facility is facing,
Uh-huh.
trends in juvenile justice.
So we're really showing them that we've done our homework,
You are, yeah.
that we understand the context of this
Yes.
particular job.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And don't forget to check their social media.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Get a sense of their culture and values.
Right. And if possible, we could even look up the interviewer on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just to get a feel for their
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, their experience.
So we're being proactive
Yes.
and curious
Uh-huh.
and really invested.
Showing them you're serious about this opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher can help us with research too, right?
Of course it can.
Their AI is amazing.
It is, yeah. It can analyze job descriptions,
Okay.
identify keywords,
Yeah.
and suggest resources that might be helpful in your research.
Okay.
It can even analyze the facility's online presence
Wow.
and give you some insights into their culture
All
and
right.
the priorities.
It's like having a whole research team in our pocket.
Basically, yeah, right there on your phone.
This deep dive has been so helpful.
It has been fun.
I'm feeling so much more prepared and confident
That's great to hear.
about tackling my Juvenile Correctional Officer interview.
I'm glad we could help.
Yeah, you've given me some great advice.
Well, remember, the most important thing is to be yourself.
Okay.
Let your passion shine through
Yeah.
and show them why you're the perfect fit for this job.
Great advice to all of our listeners out there who are prepping for their interviews. You've got this. With preparation enthusiasm and a genuine desire to make a difference,
Absolutely.
you can totally ace that interview
Yeah.
and embark on an amazing career as a juvenile correctional officer.
It's a great career.
And don't forget,
Yes.
RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way
They are a great resource.
with their incredible AI-powered tools.
Definitely take advantage of that.
So helpful. Best of luck to everyone.
Best of luck.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive,
It's been fun.
and we'll see you next time.
See you later, David.